Well, every time we've seen Core on this map, they've gotten a little bit better each time. And well, that's going to pay off in spades as when it matters most, getting the victory over Cubert Academy, taking us to a map 3 on the day. Honestly, this is just insane. Like Roy, at some point, I don't even feel like I understand this game anymore. I don't know what's happening. Like, what's going on?
I don't know what it is about Core specifically, but I swear every one of their matches just devolves into madness. Like there's just something in the air whenever the Core players are in the server. You got the breach opping and then just hell breaks loose from there. Something is going on. I don't know. We need to investigate. I need to put Wyatt to work because he put me to work last time. Maybe we need to have Wyatt investigate what's going on in the air here.
Dude, if anything, you were talking about the amount of reps here that Core is able to get on these maps, and you're able to see it. You know what's good? You know what happens when you do a lot of exercise on one thing? You get to work on your core.
Oh, a little hypertrophy.
No, but jokes aside, they did look a lot cleaner than they did in the first map on Haven. And on top of that, you got as much shenanigans as you did in terms of hero plays, but as a lot more developed in terms of how they worked around that map. The lurks were very good. Nurse found some very good timings across the map as well. So overall, I just think that, again, it's one of those moments where you could get sort of figured out with the composition that you're pulling out here from the side of Cubert Academy, and they exploited that quite well here for Core with the amount of post-plan opportunities you're able to get.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Also, for me specifically, when I'm watching Core and I just see them sitting in these setups and they're completely trusting each other and they're not really like breaking it, they just look very calm, very collected, and they absolutely trust the retake. So for me, that's a sign that they're like very confident, that they trust the game plan. They kind of have an idea of how they're approaching it and what Cubert is trying to accomplish, and I think they're doing a very good job just reading them out, and it feels like they really do have their cards.
Yeah. But just watching the last 2 maps as well, it almost feels like their game plan for Core is starting to look readable as well. It's not every time that it happens, but whenever Core has opportunities to be a lot more explosive and have like big ults to work with or good stall utility that's still available, they love to play utility to allow Timatino to get inside sight, but also play that solo inside the site as well. So he's going to call, I need help here in terms of util. He gets his 1, he gets his 2, and then the rest plays like the type of stall in terms of like sucks or like just util in the end, to just not allow players to get into the diffuse on the side of Cubert Academy. So I think if anything, if you're looking at what happened as well, Roy, I think you agree with me as well. We were watching this game where sometimes we're wondering why Cubert felt so hesitant, so scared, and not as assertive as the super team should be to disrespect these type of like setups that are, you're giving a lot of time for Core to set up actually, and they shouldn't at that point. And I think that's going to help them going into the third map.
Yeah, there's 2 things that are happening. They're doing that, and they're also just allowing Core to run an entire game plan on them. Like you have this team that's basically superstars in every role, right? Like Knightsy's obviously he's kind of an unknown factor coming into this league, but now we kind of understand what he brings to the table. But I mean, overall, you have T-Dog on IGL, very experienced, Redux, upcoming star, Scuba, insane controller, and of course Nismo, one of the most prominent. I mean, he's the vet in the league. But you have all these players, but you're playing ultra passive, and you're just allowing the enemy team to just run circles around you, when I feel like you should be getting a little bit more involved in the rounds and in the outcomes, and not really allowing them to just kind of run their full script. So I mean, that being said, shout out to Core, because I think they're doing a phenomenal job. And within Core, I think specifically on Split, Tino had a lot of impact on the duelist, yes, but Darkest had so much impact on the initiator role. And they have Snarly to just anchor things down. Like, how many rounds did we see Snarly just anchoring sites, getting multiple frags? There's no trades. There's not a lot of like spatial pressure on Snarly that's just allowing him to just sort of free flow and do what he does best, which is hold stuff down.
Yeah, just one of those moments too where they were discoordinated on the side of Cubert Academy that you could take advantage from. Like these 3 players rather could take advantage of is like one of those retake rounds where you're going for executes again to try to flood through. They go for a Rolling Thunder, but on top of that, they throw a Cosmic Divide along that wall as well. So anybody that got hit towards that B side by the map was just unaffected by that ult because there was a Cosmic Divide. There was no way that we're going to get shut down by their opponents. So that is some of the things that Cubert Academy definitely will have to start cleaning up here going into that third map, because you showed tenacity on that first map. This should have been the confidence for you winning the second map quite easily, and you let that falter, and it was a one-sided affair on the side of Core.
Yeah, it was a lack of confidence kind of from the get-go, even in some of the situations where Cubert was up numbers and just overly respecting Core. Core definitely has some shooters on the team, so like they deserve definitely some of this respect. But when you're talking about this Cubert Academy with all of these top players, this team that's the #1 seed, and a team too that over the past couple of weeks have had the time off since they managed to secure a playoff spot a little sooner. It's interesting that going into the series, and since we didn't see that confidence then going into the second map, for Core, this is the underdog team. They're the ones that actually can make ascension. I feel like this confidence that they've had, that's actually something that we can see now in this upcoming map with Lotus. One that we have seen from them. We've seen a couple of different looks from them. And for Cubert Academy, well, Roy, we have nothing on them on this map.
Yeah, we have no idea what to expect. I don't even know. I can't even begin to even predict what kind of meta they're going to run, because there's so many ways you could go right now. I mean, we're technically in like
Tail
the
breach.
most... Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I think so.
I think we're in like one of the most malleable metas we've had. Like there's so many variants of duelists you can run. There's so many variants of initiators you can run. Obviously, Tejo Breach getting preferred by a lot of these teams, but there really is a lot of flexibility in what Sentinel you're running, what duelist are you running, what controller are you running. There's just so much malleability, so it's hard for us to know. But yeah, going into Lotus, I do think it's going to be an interesting matchup, specifically just because we know that it's been a good map for Core. They've looked very comfortable on the map.
And sorry, I want to pick it back on that as well, because you were talking about a 3-week preparation time, you know, that Cubert Academy kind of had because they qualified a long time ago. So now you have 3 weeks of prep they're able to do. You're able to bring this onto Lotus, where you have some good tape onto Core, because Core, although they went 3-0 on this map this season, they still had to play a lot of rounds. So now you have a great understanding of how they could approach of how you could approach this map. And you could not necessarily counter it, but you just know the tendencies of what Core is going to go for in a type of like more default comp. Oh, I mean, they had 3 different comps, but more recent one was a little more default, right? Exactly. So it's going to be a lot here for Core to get ready for, because Cubert Academy could definitely come out with like that secret move here that's unattended for.
I mean, even if they have the secret move, like I'm looking at the execution for it, because within this series, it's been Core to then, in these clutch situations, be able to take those little upsets. That was a Haven that they had that opportunity to close it out and just missed out. So when we're looking back at the series, the fact that they closed out that second map pretty cleanly and they missed that opportunity on Haven, Cubert Academy, even if they have something up their sleeve, like, I don't know if I'm necessarily a believer in this moment. Like I need to see the turnaround. Like this is Cubert Academy we're talking about.
Yeah. If anything, though, we're looking at this, and I'll pass it back to Roy afterwards. I think the whole chaos and how they were like throwing these 2v5s and these 3v5s for Cubert on the first map, I think that's gone now, because those jitters are gone. It was a little bit better here on Split, and now again, you've been playing the last 2 maps where you're pulling out like a Breach Tejo plus any duelist that you want pretty much for Redux. They could do this again right now here on Lotus. So your approach is going to be very similar once again. And then you get into the third map, and then boom, you're able to clean up a little bit of that chaos that Core brings.
All right, well, Agent Select, I mean, Cubert, we have no idea what they're thinking of. Well, we have some idea considering tendencies. Core, we've seen 3 different looks. Getting into the map, Vance, right, that was a Tejo Breach. Core, we're sticking to what the last one. Roy, I want your thoughts here. Redux back on this Neon.
I think the Neon here is actually completely fine. I will say, though, kind of circling back to something that Vance brought up, is the fact that there is actually tape on Core, and they're playing a Sentyless comp. I think is going to be a little bit weird for the Core side, right? Because you have a very fast-paced comp that can easily push and pull you in many directions. And if they're not on top of these like gaps that they're going to be creating or leaving open, it's going to be extremely problematic. But that being said, I think Sentinels just needs to get their stuff together. I don't feel like they're playing a bad game. They need to secure the advantageous rounds, and they need to just play their game, get a little bit more loose, and just allow players to just do what they do best.
At this point, 3rd map in the series, all the cobwebs, should be good, should be fully warmed up. I'm excited to get into the Lotus and see what Cubert Academy is made of this map. And for Core, if they can, in fact, get this upset win, let's head in and head back to your casters, Wyatt and Shift, for the final time today.
I don't know, Wyatt, if we ever actually had cobwebs over this series. It's just been drama and chaos and just unexpected results. The only thing that we could really say, just to kind of piggyback off the desk, is, again, this has been a map that we have seen from Core quite a bit. It's been very successful for them. Cubert have not shown us this map yet in this stage.
And for some reason, Core, no matter what iteration of this team exists, they always seem to just love playing Sova on Lotus. It has always been a go-to Sentinel on a map where usually you see Fade over Sova if you're going for one of the information gathering initiators, but they have always preferred it. Definitely have to pay attention to the lack of Sentinel that Roy pointed out, though, and the fact that Cubert should be able to try and exploit that, given that Core just played this map the other day.
Very true. Well, the one Sentinel on the map in Cubert is in a little bit of trouble. Fault line does not affect him, though, and a little bit of assistance off the Arc Rose allows now an opportunity for Redux. Whoa, just trying to spam his way through. This is messy. I don't even know if there was a secondary flash there or not. It just looked like Cubert were trying to just burst through the doors, and Core say, no, thank you, we're not going to allow that to happen.
It seemed as well like Redux outpaced the paranoia that was supposed to come through. The timing there was just not correct. Door now being procced by Core with seemingly no intention of actually going through it and ending towards the C site.
It's another one of those protocol moments that we've talked about it a couple of times where Cubert just do not look like they are put together here on some of these executes that they've tried to put together. Fault line at the ready, though. T-Dog working with Knights, both of them together. Isolation is decent. Spam shots also landing, but Knights will drop, leaving it now just down to T-Dog. 1v3, a couple of little health pulls in front of him, though. Shakes off the flash. Just too many players to deal with, though. Overwhelmed by sheer force of number. And Core Gaming shut down that retake attempt through mid and used that as a chance for Numbers to win their opening pistol.
Yeah, that was them down into the 4 versus 5. They have certainly won a lot of man disadvantaged situations today, but that felt like more of Cubert trying to do way too much than Core needing to pull some kind of heroics off to win out in that situation. They already got the pick, and then they just tried to force taking the fight even further, mistimed with a util. I believe Core have won the first pistol round on all 3 maps now. Always getting off to a nice start.
Yeah, it definitely feels that way. Oh, Snarly will see the quick little dash from Redux, throw him a shot, say, no, not right now, thank you. And that's enough for Cubert to kind of back down just a touch. I mean, they still hold some really significant ground here, front side at A main. But Core do have plenty of utility to try to flush this out, including very safely. They can just throw out an Aldron if they want to.
The Redux wants to play this bait position, break the drone, and then Nismo can stay hidden, pop out later. But that's a dangerous position to be in now with a nade.
Yeah. Pain Shells flushes a lot of that out. Salvo behind this, though. Nismo is able to use that for an opportunity to kick down one. Juggle the weapon away. Do what they can to make sure that this weapon stays in the hands of the offense. 4v4. Now we're taking a long swing back over to C. Couple offensive pings are in. Knights does not really have any utility to play off of. This is just how tall can he stand on the backside of the site, and the Boombot actually connects on the Redux front side waterfall. Rare elimination for the Boombot, and that's enough for Core to get on site.
We now know that Knights is definitely playing towards halls as well with the Arc Rose coming through. Should be all easy cleanup for Core at this point.
Decent salvo positions. Not enough to actually follow up for any eliminations, at least not immediately. Logan drops. Darkest able to connect, and Knights, just the classic. Yeah, nothing you can do with that. So follow-up on the anti-eco is good, but this bonus will, well, not pack much of a punch. Vandal and an Outlaw is all that will carry into the next round.
That's pretty solid damage from Cubert Academy. Hold on. What is happening with this buy? I see a breach with an operator on attack. I can't say I'm not used to seeing a breach with an operator on attack.
Brother.
But it's rather the timing of it. We have the breach with the op on attack on the bonus, where we only have the Outlaw and the Vandal from the last round. What is the rest of this buy going to look like? Excuse me? The two sheriffs out outlaw an op and what is happening, man? And if this works, I will never comment. I will never say anything disparaging about the breach op ever again.
Well, we're about to find out. Initial contact good for Cubert. 5v4 immediately off the rip. Sheer wall has been placed the front side at C, with a smoke also in the way for the time being. Shock dart into the back corner of the site. Not really going to do too much to deter this defense, but does pull it around just a touch.
3 players from Cubert stacked up and ready to go. They want to defend this C site. In the meantime, T-Dog is in a bit of an awkward position at Rubble. He's on the run. Fast lane thrown out so he can make his escape to site.
Yeah, that's just the fault line paint shells combination, so it's pretty free for Core. Problem is the clock is starting to wear out now. Redux backing in towards the drop into A. The Tejo of Nismo is going to rotate over, but now there's smoke placement over towards B. The only person in place for this would be Nice. Paranoia cuts across the site, but the elevation allows Timo to get away from that for free. A couple of spam shots behind. Don't connect onto Redux. The spike does get planted, though. Darkest connects. Offensive operator play with the breach. Don't hate on it. Now you just got 2 scopes left, though, of your core. How do you get through this? Outlaw and an operator. Scuba going to hop on for the defuse. Fault line coming out, but it gets to halfway. Smoke will dissipate. Flash going to get popped on both sides. Cubert had to make the one. They're the ones who didn't make the move here. Scuba, once again, tries to hop on. Darkest connects for another. And now Scuba doesn't really have the opportunity just to hop on. He's got to find this next elimination. Darkest trying to get inside the dark cover. Hits the right click, but doesn't make a difference. The spike gets diffused anyways, and Cube will get on the board in dramatic fashion.
The first right click only connected 2 of the bullets, or that would have won them the round. Well, the attack op, it did some things. At least he saved it for the full buy as well. I think he cut off a rotate over on the lurking breach op. Cut off a rotator from A in the post splat. So close. If that right click killed him, they definitely win the round.
Unbelievable scenes. It just never stops with these 2 teams. And Darkest will go back to the operator again. So odd. Timo is going to collect this orb and be 1 away from a showstopper as the approach towards A seems pretty imminent. You have a long lurk from Snarly just hanging out at mid. Smokes will exchange hands. Paranoia at the ready here for Scuba. Just throws it out proactively behind this Aldrone coming through. So, again, in terms of value, Core are going to be happy to have this, and even more so that Timo just blind fires through the smoke and connects onto Scuba.
Both teams have absolutely nothing left in the bank. So it's a must-win round for both sides as Core opt to cut Noise after finding that first kill. Intentions of re-hitting on the C site, it seems. Waiting right now to see if anyone from Cubert tries to push out and get any information as to what's happening on this side of the map, but that will not be the case.
Here we go, showstopper out. No one home, though, for the defense. So how deep can Timo get in towards C? Another smoke gets placed.
30 seconds
and just gets
left.
blindly thrown through. Not going to hold his ground there. He's going to let the smoke do the talking for him. Fault line quickly coming through, trying to use that as a way to combine with the Armageddon, and it does work out. Darkest will drop. Follow-up from Nismo is good on the backside of the play as well through Waterfall. Timo still inside the site. Oh, caught looking the wrong direction. And Cubert's retake has been clean. Enough ultimates used to make a complete mess in the post plant. Snarly overwhelmed as Knights will hop on for the fuse. We're tied at 2.
That was some great usage of that Armageddon in tandem with the fault line, getting that stun.
My ultimate's ready.
And Nismo as well, that swing, he had a really lovely kill onto Logan. That quick headshot when he swung down Waterfall. Really well played. And again, it's just Cubert going back to the well of having a massive amount of utility in this comp that they seemingly are happy to run just across the entire map pool.
And legitimately, it's, I want to say it's like if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but I don't know if there's been enough results to allow me to believe in that. Broken by situation here for Core in round 5, leading to some quick action front side at A. Timo again, a decent counter. Hunter's Fury for Logan is connected once, but Cubert, a couple of crossing angles you thought was going to just suffocate this play from Core, but instead the trades come through for the offense, and now you've got a Viper's Wall down with the orb and a chance to set up a pretty solid post plan.
Knight's trying to find this timing now from stairs. Smoke down will allow him to get out safely, not get shot by anyone playing towards rubble. And that arc rows onto site gives them a little bit of info.
Yeah.
They know there's no one playing close.
Yeah, the more space they clear out, so the Steel Garden can be placed and shut down anyone over towards Street, but Darkest has the Rolling Thunder. Knight's able to find one. That pushes Scuba off for the initial defuse. Follow up, though. Knight's just going to rehop on this again. And it's past halfway. And it's just no one is going to be able to touch this in time for Core Gaming. So once again, Cubert sneak away around right underneath the noses of Core. But in a round that was kind of a broken buy, that really isn't the worst result. It just becomes a little bit more expensive because you do spend the Rolling Thunder for it.
Really just all came down to that Steel Garden, getting that space that you mentioned and connecting it onto all those players. Darkest just trying to go too quickly off the back of that Rolling Thunder, caught before the gun was even taken out of their hands.
Well, the messy battle over the top of A looked good for a moment for Core Gaming, but not able to capitalize after the post plant. And because of that broken buy in the last round, they're on another broken buy here. So Cubert only going to be kind of limping in with just one Bulldog. Everything else is pretty much full on. Paranoia does connect on Knights, pushing him off the site, but initial damage on the Timo is pretty solid. And the spike is not on thanks to the shear, so Cubert can rotate over with some speed.
By the time they get there, they're going to have a lot of utility to dump if they want. Try and send in a fault line, missiles, same old story.
Yeah. T-Dog getting ready to go. And that opening from Nismo makes life a little bit easier. Paranoia cuts across for Scuba as he tries to pinch onto the site, and that will work out beautifully. Just down to Logan. Salvo in the corner forces him right into all 5 Cubert members. Flawless on the retake, flawless for the round. Cubert up now 4-2.
Core are going to need to fight for more space after they get the spike down on C. You just cannot allow Cubert to fully set up for these massive util wave retakes. You have to do something to interrupt them. They kind of tried to. There was one player pushing forward who Nismo got the kill on, but there needs to be more than that. They need to do something to really disrupt Cubert in that setup phase.
Well, Core going to talk about this again. I think the timeline actually tells a pretty compelling story right now. 4 plants, no holds. So the executes have gone well, but the retake presence from Cubert has been pretty much flawless, just outside of the pistol and the anti. So you've got this conversation point now, if you're Core Gaming, of, you know, there've been, I think the biggest thing is there've been a couple of rounds where they've had the option through C to try to play a little bit deeper, whether that be in Waterfall or towards back halls, and they've elected to just largely play it in front of the platform. And I think some of that is you do have to respect the fact that Nismo's utility is dangerous in combination to T-Dogs. So you do have to kind of wait for that to come through, but I feel like they've been really pocketed on the C-site post plans that we've seen so far.
Yeah, absolutely. No big ults in this round getting out of the timeout. That being said, though, Darkest has the op, where we've gone back to the opping breach well.
Also want to give the quick shout out to that little recon dart body block too that happened in the highlights. Didn't notice that in real time. Pretty big brain. And again, Darkest on this off, man. It's definitely been designed, to put it plainly. Sheer is in the way towards any approach at B. And with good C mound control here, Core really can't step up even if they wanted to. They need to wait for the door to go back down. And they may need to actually throw some utility to C mound just to try to split the focus a touch, because this is not going to feel particularly comfortable. But Darkest is just going to try to trigger the wall and then back down as the defense continues to move.
Not ready yet. Good hit.
Stealth drone sent out, broken over towards the A side of the map. Does Core want to use this wall, work off of it while it obscures the view from Baby Door? T-Dog might be feeling a lot of pressure in a moment here.
This is one fault line to play off of, though, and that's enough for one. Sidesteps Darkest's touch. But Cubert defensively still hanging on. Timo around the backside, though, has gotten tree controlled. Spike can be collected as Timo is really just playing a 1v everything right now. Overdrive out for Redux. And, oh, nice tracking from Timo. Gets the shutdown plus another. He's on such critical health, but it doesn't make a difference. Nerve following up through drop, able to find one. Doesn't expect that Scuba's playing from the same position, though. Now the teleport back. And Darkest has an but he reads the teleport and connects onto Scuba. Core Gaming back to within one.
It is simply outrageous what Timotino is doing for this team. Top fragging again on the third map, coming up with kills that feel impossible to get. Trying to find the headshot onto Redux, rounding the corner at max speed with the overdrive, and then he adjusts to get a second in heaven. Again, on top of that, another round won by Core where they have a man disadvantage. They have converted far too many of those rounds.
Unreal. Well, here we go again. Darkest operator play. Just try to peek over through mid. Not a lot of action through a rubble for one of the first times, but a relay bolt is still tossed out just as a way of considering that there could be a forward defensive play. The big question is, what can Scuba get before he gets overwhelmed? And he only finds one. So now the defense has to move. Stealth drone through mid will put a pause to any offensive rotation for now, and that will actually be enough space for Knight to work his way into the site, or at least around it.
Dark is still just taking his time, waiting out to see if anyone would push up in towards B. Recon goes deep C, which is offering some good information for Nerve, who is all the way up on Bend. So he knows he can press a little bit forward, won't be in danger, and Knights just does not want to take any risk being that low HP.
Good flash, good information on Knights. On top of that, Armageddon going to come through.
Oh my god.
Snarly able to get one. Oh, and oh my goodness, the pushback thanks to the Aftershock. Nismo is able to catch Snarly, and T-Dog capitalizes onto Nerve, who had nowhere to go. Spike will still be planted. Darkest has to hit. Because otherwise, I just don't see Logan being able to survive through this inevitable flood. But if he can connect onto one and get out, could be huge. And there it is. Darkest able to find the first. Flash from the follow-up. Shoulder comes through. Darkest connects again. And now it's just down to, does he get an angle to stop the defuse from coming through? Aftershock to delay, but Redux finds the elim. Plenty of time to defuse.
I was just hoping that Redux would have made a dash towards the spike, but he expected Darkest to re-swing immediately, shuts him down. Second Armageddon already from Nismo in this half, and both of them have gotten a kill during a C post plant situation. It's just such a narrow, congested area of the map. It's far too easy to find value with it there. And with the Aftershock as well.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go.
With the salvos, like you are so cooked.
Yeah.
That's the abilities don't kill in Project A moment of the match. It's just the truest statement of all time.
Oh, Paranoia trying to save Redux as he was affected by the fault line. Oh, that was a Rosa ult right there. Showstopper immediately pulled and then just tossed blindly to the backside of Pound, which was already won. So 5v4, but with a limited purchase here for Core and no Showstopper, can Cubert still hang?
How do they respond to this? They have good control over at A. Do they just try and anchor this hard over on C? Probably the only way that they can win this round out. You don't want to play for retake at a disadvantage.
No.
Scuba wants to find a kill. And matter of fact, he could pop his ultimate if he gets one. Might be able to escape, and then they could play a 4v4. That's a possible scenario.
Aftershock pushes him off. Page Shell's also suffocating the site. Knight's affected by the fault line. And there's, yeah, this is a really good execute from Core. Every base covered. Quick on the rotation from behind is T-Dog, but it's being watched by Logan in a corner. And T-Dog would have to snap here. No, not going to happen. Logan finds the elim. And Nismo, yeah, he'll just toss out a salvo to see if he can find some sort of a blind connection, but he won't have it. And that is a very efficient round for Core, likely to end in a flawless where everyone upgrades weapons.
Thrifty.
Yep.
Darkus, yeah, even cleaning up the last one, has a rolling thunder now too. You called it. That was an excellent hit. All the bases covered. Scuba trying to anchor back a bend. Aftershock to his right. Nade comes in, and then a Hunter's Fury right on top of him. There's just nowhere to go. The only place he could have teleported to would have been out in the open. So he is just cooked. Great play there from Core. And now they really can carry this momentum over with the rolling thunder. They have a pit for a post plant.
Player stand. Thrifty. Down.
How many Thrifties is that in this series now? Is that 4 official?
Too many to count. There's too many to count.
More Thrifties than fingers on a hand. Especially if you live in like Arkansas or something. I don't know.
And after this 6-hour casting marathon, you expect me to count?
Yeah,
I don't think
true.
I could count to 4 if I tried right now.
All drones scouting things out to get some sort of a safe approach here at C-Mount. It's just pistol upgrades here for Cubert on this defense in round 10.
Timotino grabs the orb. Cubert just not doing anything particularly proactive. They've been using this comp really to play for the Floods. You can get easy control over towards A.
There.
There hasn't really been an aggressive mid-round moment for them yet. Core have been able to set up for these C hits pretty much for free.
Oh, that's disgusting. Just a little pop-up. I see you. Spam through the wall. No worries. And for a second, I was about to be really critical. Darkus had the queue up for the Rolling Thunder. I was like, do we really need that to execute into side after you just broke it down with a fault line and a paint shells combination? And they will save it. And this is likely one of those rounds that comes to an anticlimactic finish as Cubert will look for exit kills or sacrifice themselves to the spike, most likely. That elimination for Redux puts a little bit of pressure here, though, onto the post plant. But again, no proactivity through Waterfall. Looks like Cubert are going to forfeit this.
Time is very much dwindling. You know, maybe T-Dog gets a kill, dies, gets his ult for the next round. That would be a decent consolation.
Well, they're going to give this a go, but no, not going to happen. Trying to stand just on top of the small little curb side of the platform, not going to work out. And we're tied at 5 in the blink of an eye after a very mixy opening. What was all post-plant retakes for Cubert has now started to go a bit astray, largely thanks to the Thrifty resetting everything, and now we've got a really critical gun round here in round 11.
What I need to see here is Core, everybody buy a shorty. They have tons of cash. Everybody get a shorty. We hit the site with the Rolling Thunder. We get the pit down. The retake comes in with the Steel Garden. Doesn't matter. We all have shorties in the pit. That's what I want to see on this round.
If you call that perfectly, I don't know what I'll do, but I'll do something for you. I'll give you the biggest high five you've ever seen in your life.
If I call that perfectly, my day rate needs to increase by $5.
Well, that's fair.
Maybe even 10.
I would say at least 10.
I appreciate that.
You got it, my guy. Get you that extra McDouble. Cubert setting up for some sort of a contest if there is an execute on towards A with his fault line being queued. You've also got Nismo in a position to watch through small door. So it just comes down to if Core decide to hit this, and maybe in particular, do they want to try to open this up by way of the Rolling Thunder first? Steel Garden gets called, though. And, ooh, Nerve just barely teleports out away from dodge.
Snarly just praying he doesn't get sprayed down and no one does anything too active before his wall drops. That is a large investment from the Cubert Academy. Does not net a single kill. And it's also made them feel like maybe they're rotating off. And they've kind of
seconds left.
abandoned, but not too much. This is a decent setup, actually, to counter the B split that's coming in.
Nismo, brother, caught with utility out. Knight's able to save the day, though, from the pinch on the other side. Rolling Thunder to cut right across the B side. I don't think Redux was actually hit by that. No, he's still alive and kicking. But, oh, he gets the read. He's got to rotate back quickly. Sheer comes through. That splits up this offense. Is there enough time to get the spike down? Spike carrier drops. Redux going to separate the site, and the sheer wall still active. What are we watching?
Oh, they've overcooked it. They really overcooked it. I know that when they started running to C, they all realized, oh, we forgot to pop the wall earlier, and we're cooked. Like, they definitely could have just executed into B, but they thought they could bamboozle them, but you can't outrun the Neon. You just can't get to C faster than the Neon. That got a little chaotic. Especially with Nismo also just util out. Heard them running, but for some reason thought they were further away.
Yeah.
Awkward.
And I think there is a level of heroics there from Knights to get two on that cross through mid connector from A. That was everything in terms of what Core wanted to get into B. And when those two members fall, it feels like they make the panic call of, all right, we got to rotate back over. Lots of utility here, just kind of thrown into the front doors at A main. Cubert going to be happy to hold their ground for a small time. Nice relay bolt from Redux, but not an initial option to find the elimination. Rolling Thunder coming through. Redux just trying to push through this. No one in the corner, though. That is an expensive usage for Cubert to really not get anything.
They used so much util. Commit the ultimate. Still a minute on the clock for Core to play with now.
Razors are out. Scuba's still safe in the corner. Nismo on his cross. Poison Cloud going to be sent in the back left side of the B site. This crossfire is everything, though. And Scuba, oh, his timing here is exquisite. Finds two, including the spike carrier. Knights now knows he's going to need a little bit of help, and he's going to get it by way of Scuba's utility. At least initially he does, but quickly for the plant. Maybe the Viper's Pit first. No, it's going to be Snarly going for the plant initially, but Cubert are already playing forward, so this Viper's Pit can be challenged very quickly. Snarly spamming finds one, but dealt with. That will fall the green haze. Darkest trying to give enough time for Nerf to come around the back. Good trigger to some 1 for 2. Leaves T-Dog by himself. 1v2. First shot's not quite there. Follow-up is good. Now it's down to the 1v1 with Darkest. Major health advantage as well for Darkest as well on top of this. But T-Dog, does he catch an angle to hop on for the defuse? He has not cleared C-Mound. Darkest is playing for the post plant on the corner. Fault line lands. T-Dog has to stick it. Darkest shakes off the effects, find the easy win, and we'll go to a 6-6 half.
Some impressive rounds from both teams, to be honest, and some silly rounds from both teams, which has left us at a dead even scoreline heading into this second half. I'm excited to see what Cubert can do, though, with this composition as far as fighting for that A side of the map, fighting for C early. Because we saw in Haven when they were running with the Neon, excuse me, they had a lot of cool ways to set up Redux early in the rounds for kills. I'm looking to see if they have more of that, like those set util plays to open rounds on this map too. Because they were finding a lot of value with that.
Yeah. And you got to keep in mind, one round gets kind of chalked up thanks to some individual heroics. Another 2 rounds worth of Thrifties. I mean, Core have built the lifelines they need to compete. And I think there's a level of, like, you give credit where, again, credit is due, but more in particular, Core is just taking advantage of the mistakes that Cubert are making, and they're making quite a few. I mean, this has not been as clean as we had seen from Cubert early on in the group stage.
Definitely. They've been struggling far more with the fundamentals. They've just given up way too many advantage rounds. They're finding advantages because of excellent synced up utility plays, a lot of pre-prepared stuff in that way. But then things crumble later in the rounds on far too many occasions. Of course, it's not happening all the time, but it's happening too much. Core have been able to get away with too much.
Yeah, it's very accurate. I mean, let's just throw the hypothetical out here. If Cubert ended up winning the series, I imagine the reactions would be like, we cannot allow any of those things to happen again. On the other side, if Core Gaming find a way to, again, capitalize on the mistakes that have been made, you're sitting here just absolutely filled to the brim with confidence. Like, guys, we're pulling out Thrifties versus Cubert Academy. We could beat anybody. Like, I think especially with the bracket being all mixed up early, like M80 coming out with, you know, based on the reaction from the interview, what they thought was a very kind of winnable in 2 series versus Envy. You look at this side of the bracket, if Cubert fall, Core Gaming would be looking at the winner of TSM versus Winthrop. Like, and I won't sleep on that Winthrop team. That's a mixy squad too. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, this bracket could get really interesting very quickly in the first days of Winners Round 1 action.
Yeah, it would immediately cancel out and the predictions of everyone. Everyone would simply be wrong if both the Rankers and Cubert Academy lose straight away. Pretty wild too, just that Core, they started this season 0-2 in serious danger. Then they go on a 3-match run of win-win-win to get in prime position to get into the playoffs. I see Sierra Dawn, host of this broadcast, just typed in the chat, I predicted Core, I'd be a genius. Crazy. Everyone on our desk, they just care about being right. What happened to working as a team? Roy just celebrating because he was right about the org debuff. What happened to working together?
These guys are just on the pick-me energy is what it is right now, Wyatt. I'm so thrilled to be wrong. I'm always happy to be wrong.
Yeah, that's what I tell myself too, because I'm wrong a solid 90% of the time.
It builds a compelling storyline. Like, here's all these numbers and research points that we have about why this one team is better than the other. And then they're wrong. It's just like, let's go. Like, I'm here for that energy. But no, you're right. I mean, the run for Core Gaming is a really interesting one because, like, I'll just be honest. Like, they did not have a difficult journey. Like, they started off their group stage playing up against SAD Esports. Then they played up against Shopify Rebellion Black. And then Shopify Gold. Then Ambrosia. Like, they haven't played any of the other top teams outside of, like,
Blue Otter?
Really? Like,
yeah.
Kind of? Like, and then they win a thriller versus a Nightblood team that I actually thought was playing really clean Valorant leading up to the week, but it really hasn't been a test for Core like a lot of other teams have had. I mean, they've avoided Rankers, TSM, Cubert until now. Like, they've avoided the top 3.
Cover going out. Getting this attack side off, you just have Nismo sending off those salvos to C main and then behind the box over at C mound, just to gain early control of that area of the map.
Not ready yet. Gotta go.
Well, after the delayed tech pause, it's just going to be a flip of the sides here for the pistol in case you're joining us here late. I'm sure you already know that just by looking at the scoreboard. A little bit of information for Redux off that little toggle over towards A. They're also going to avoid the poison cloud. Nerve is in a world of hurt, trying to get through and will stay alive. Has to spend the paranoia, though, for the effort, and that will lead to a Cubert 5v5 post plant.
Every single player on Core right now going towards back halls to have tried to divide off towards Waterfall. No, it's just Snarly alone, concerned about a late B lurk. Won't actually be one coming.
Paranoia, though, does get sped over towards Waterfall, and then the retraction back over to the site looks good. Knights for 3. Darkest responds a double of his own. Nice shots coming over to T-Dog, but not able to connect onto the headshot. Plus, there were still 2 more members to deal with, and Cubert's aggression through Waterfall in the post plant works out for the pistol.
And that's something that I wanted to see Core do more of on their attack half. Set up a moment there where you have multiple players pushing through either back halls or, in this case, what Cubert just did, pushing through Waterfall off of Paranoia, and then an additional flash came through from Nismo as well. And you can just punish 1 or 2 players in that area of the map and then go back and fight elsewhere. That was a great way to start this half off.
Shadows traveling. An opening salvo will stop any defensive aggression through C. Orb collected for Knights, so building towards the Steel Garden. And that will be enough for Cubert to feel happy about what they've done at C and take their focus back over towards the A side of the map as Core will try to invest a gamble stack on the C site.
Darkest just trying to get a little bit of information if the rotation is going elsewhere. And now wants to find a timing.
Taken out.
Good first blood there. Darkest trying to sneak up into pillars, not going to work.
Thorns are live.
And now it's just going to be Knights making a little bit of noise at C while everyone else executes on towards the A site. Yeah, a deep dark cover over towards
activated.
Waterfall. Yep, it does exactly what's intended to do. Pulls Timo back in
Not
towards the
ready
C
yet.
site.
Flash placed.
And Cubert
Not
will
ready
have
yet.
a wide open A site post plant.
It is all too free.
30
They should be
seconds
able
left.
to clean this up with ease, unless Timo finds a window with the one Sheriff, but he does not, so this one is as good as done.
Toxin screen down.
I would say so. Can Knights find any more? We've already seen him really trying to build towards the Steel Garden. He will find another elimination. Nice shots from Logan and Nerve. Good team damage. Shuts down the play, but it will have the Steel Garden one away from being earned. T-Dog watching over through small door. And yeah, that will be about it here as everyone will back away. Nice salvo prediction coming through. Allows an angle for T-Dog, and Nismo also finds the Elim with the salvo. So 8-6 the count. Pretty clean here in the anti-eco, which will have a pretty potent bonus coming through. Bulldog, Guardian, Phantom, Vandal purchase. This is going to be pretty very, very steep purchase.
Yeah, it is quality. They've got more than enough cash for the follow-up round. All right, this is a very big moment for Core.
Taken out.
This one should be pretty challenging to win. Bear in mind, they're playing a defense now where they don't have a Sentinel, and they're up against a Neon. I mean, how frustrating is that? You don't have Cypher trips, or even the Vice Wall to try and do it.
Now self-thrown in. Nerve, I don't think actually sees anything over the top of this dark cover, so Redux will get a little bit deeper in towards site on a more unexpected basis. There's also a razor wire down to this position. Steel Garden called behind this too. Redux looking to kind of force himself forward. Owl drone. I don't know if it doesn't tag Redux, but it's enough to at least force the Paranoid to come through. So now all of a sudden you get your primaries back into play for Core Gaming. 5v5 on this retake. What tools are available and try to break through this setup? As Cubert actually have to give away a lot of space here just due to the fact that Timo's putting some pressure on the door. So now from the front, here comes the opportunity for Core Gaming to work their way back in. Flashes, stuns, all being thrown in, but Cubert are finding all of the eliminations. A solid hold from Cubert. Nerve backing away, just trying to save.
They are really showing Core how you're supposed to play a Seaside post plan. They are being incredibly decisive. They rip away the gun out of Nerve's hands as well at the very end. But that was another example of them initially out off the Steel Garden. They push and take that back halls control on C. They get a Paranoia out, extract some util, then retreat past their own dark cover. And then as a team, they fight against that player on the Core side that was trying to go through the door on B. And then they go back and fight the site together. Every little move was just such a quick decision, no hesitation.
And that felt more like what we've known for Cubert. Like not a lot of second guessing, a lot of trust in the individuals around the site. You put the pressure forward, but you don't overextend. Like everything just felt very disciplined, very dictated. So now Cubert are up 9-6. And you're on to just Sheriff upgrades here for Core. Aftershock in the corner, relay bolt with that. Redux taking an opportunity to clear out this close corner at C Mound, but the spike was never a part of this play. And actually, Core Gaming are going to trust their setup with this 2-2-1 split.
All on Darkest here to try to make something happen, which is an unlikely ask when he's just got the Sheriff and he realizes every single player is about to be running straight at him. A tough life to live.
That's really tough too, because the fault line, you would have loved for that to connect onto Redux, not the other players there. So now a 5v4 post plant, and with just Sheriffs, I mean, you better do something crazy. Paranoia comes through, that's good and effective. But Scuba, bottom side at the drop. That works out nicely. Just good connections from the front side of this post plant. T-Dog shuts down Logan. And that'll be it up for double digits. And the bank's starting to build up now for Cubert.
Yeah, the cash is pretty out of control at this point. Core on the verge of theirs being broken again. You have T-Dog one away from the Rolling Thunder, Nismo one away from the Armageddon. We've seen how much value he's been able to find with that ultimate on this map so far. Already has multiple kills with it. This is Cubert playing some really solid Valorant now. I mean, dare I say, this is possibly the best play we've seen from them all series in this stretch of the Lotus attack out.
Quick action here. Cubert just trying to really set the tempo up a touch. Trades out 1-for-1 through tree. I think if you're Core, you're okay with this because you get a little bit of an aggressive peek through C mound. Smoke will keep the B setup pretty planted, and now you're into a 4v4. Is there a peek here from Knights? No, not quite.
Just waiting for some of the teammates to work over towards mound where he wants to send out a flash for them. Going to find out that no one is home there. Snarly does have the ability to delay here with some mollies, but not going to stop Scuba from teleporting in.
Yeah, Rolling Thunder as well, part of this. Oh, and Scuba would love to be able to find this elimination. Timing is good, the headshot better. And Cubert will have a 3v3 post plant. The retake attempt, though, could come quickly. It just comes down to, can Logan find any info? And ooh, even better, it's just a double swing over through Waterfall that catches out Knights. So now you do have the opportunity to get a recon bolt in towards site. That will be set immediately. No reveal, though. Satchel play. Whoa, Timo so aggressive. T-Dog punishes. Now to the 1v2. Shock dart hits for so much, and Nerve finds the shots through the railing to get the retake underway.
That was some great damage from Logan. 120 coming in. I liked that Rolling Thunder from Cubert. It was bold to send it in the 3 versus 4, but they used it in excellent fashion to even things out. At the end of the day, they just couldn't win those important duels towards Waterfall, however. Knights going down straight away. Scuba couldn't find the trade, was just forced to retreat. And from there, it's just a matter of Core trading things out. Unfortunate that they lost Nismo to that spam from Logan. That's a decisive moment in the round as well.
Last player standing.
Well, round 18, full gun round coming through. A couple ultimates online. In particular, you're looking at the Armageddon and the Overdrive for Cubert. And they look like they want to go with tempo. Rolling Thunder is what's ready for Darkest. He is not here, though, on this site, so you have to try to respond to this. And Snarly, good with the Guardian for one. Redux comes back to find Nerve. Confirms that Logan is also playing on site, and Darkest will drop. So now the Armageddon flushing out the last couple of defenders. Snarly, the only one still standing, and the only one finding eliminations. Is that all they need, though? Snarly's taken down 3 and has single-handedly held on to the C site.
Lit up Nismo a bit as well. They need to try and get the spike down, or do they just, they just want to go all the way to the A site with that Razorvine delaying. Does Knight stick around, look for the backstab? He does. Are Core going to be aware of this?
Yeah, you can hear the footsteps. No need to peek yet. Timo's got the showstopper. They're ready. Snarly for 4, though. This guy is unbelievable. And now the showstopper to clear up the space. And Snarly's found himself a Phantom to work with on the corner. Snarly gets the ace. Showstopper doesn't get there in time to steal it. And I think we're all pretty thankful for that as Valorant fans. Core Gaming, and well, mostly just Snarly Gaming, holds on to the C site, rotates over for the final 2, and we're within 2.
How was he able to kill the people that were trying to trade onto him with just the Guardian? That snap over to the left was so ridiculous. More vintage Core magic coming through in, what was that, a 4v2? Certainly a 3v2 at some point. But they just can't trade out onto him.
It's just another in a long line of moments for Core Gaming that just, how, why?
Just how?
Yeah.
How do they keep getting away with it?
And it's another one of those moments, like you mentioned, like Snarly is in the corner of the C site with a Guardian, and we're not able to trade him out.
Last player standing.
He's not playing the most slippery of agents. He's playing Viper.
Yeah, he legitimately could not get out. He was stuck in, and he was just finding all of the kills on his lonesome. That is crazy. He only had 7 kills until that point as well. Hasn't even been having a standout map, and then just decides to go crazy. He did have those moments on Haven for sure, but eating up when they needed him most, and somehow they've gotten Cubert to a point where their economy's not looking too great.
Yeah, light armor's in the mix here for the most part. Bulldog for T-Dog. And you lose this one, you're on to a save round, and you're looking at another tie game situation. So critical, round 19 here for Cubert. But you're in the face of a Hunter's Fury, a Viper's Pit, a Rolling Thunder. Just everything you could possibly want for Core. Darkest does get pushed back, so I would like to see him give up this site and get replaced by somebody else, because you really want this Rolling Thunder for this defensive round.
Yeah, absolutely. He's trying to put that little safe crate paranoia. What onto Logan, but he gets 2, just spraying close range.
There they are.
Oh, and he gets a reveal. I mean, Core can do no wrong. Fast lanes up,
really
Snarly in the
can.
corner. Crossfire set up with Nerve if there is a commitment into C, but there's not. And it's just, I don't know, man. They're blessed. They are blessed.
Missiles come in to obscure Timotino, but he still finds his, and then the wall comes up. There's 30 seconds left. Do you want to walk through the wall? Do you want to rotate off? Do you want to just save? You want to vote surrender? What's the move here, guys? There's no time left.
Well, they're just going to hold weapons here at mid by the look of it.
10 seconds left.
Another lifeline gets extended over to Core Gaming. Hi, guy.
It's another situation where Cubert, 2 rounds in a row, they just can't find these trades.
Yeah.
Snarly able to collect in the previous. Logan just having a nice time sitting right at the door, able to spray down 2 players, running through it. They are just having a crazy day individually. And they've had good team play for sure. That was really the highlight of Split for me, but when you have Snarly pulling out an ace like that, Logan finding a 2K there where he's just not getting traded, that's what's making the difference. The amount of man disadvantage rounds that they're actually converting, it is pretty crazy to see.
Here we go. Dark is still playing off the door. Continues to do so. Cubert. How do they want to try to break this down? It looks like they want to try to give this a workout, at least try to challenge. And there'll be a fast lane with Redux playing with the fault line. Darkest, though, the door shuts and he just backs up into sight. So now the Viper's pick gets called late into this round. It's going to force the hand of Cubert to largely have to play this through A. I mean, they do have an overdrive, so they could try to challenge the pit if they want to, but I just don't know how comfortable that's going to feel in the face of some good utility support. So yeah, they're going to take their efforts to A.
40 seconds left on the clock now, and there's been a massive rotate from Core over to the A side. Teleport into Baby Door from Scuba clears that
30
out.
seconds left.
They'll have to deal with multiple anchors over towards that A side, though, if they commit. There's hesitation from Cubert.
Yeah.
They still have the spike in Baby Door, and there's 20 seconds left.
Darkest going to get a read here. Big 1v1 for Knights initially, but that pinch is shut down. Now the defensive Rolling Thunder coming through, but Darkest falls immediately behind this. So there's going to be a chance here to try to plant. Logan trying to stave this off by way of the Hunter's Fury. He does connect on the T-Dog. Shock dart over the top. A little soft lodge.
That can't be a lineup.
No,
I mean, there's no way. But if it was, that's incredible.
Oh, here comes the opportunity. Nerve already going to get down through ropes. Snarly trying to play this through small door. What do they have? Paranoia. That might be what has to connect. have to queue this one up together. T-Dog, Redux, Nismo, all of them in perfect spots to deal with the dough, and Cubert will get to 11.
That got astoundingly chaotic with about 20 seconds left. Cubert Academy really spread across the map. Able to dodge all of those ultimates and get the spike down. They'll be happy to come away with that one, though. Rolling Thunder gone, Hunter's Fury gone, round one, and they put the economy for Core on the line in this oncoming round. In position to seal the deal on this series.
Darkest with an operator. Are we surprised?
I'm definitely not. Actually, yeah, on defense, on attack, no surprise. Defense, crazy.
Good stealth drone, Rolling Thunder combination. Redux gets a lot of space. Backside C, angle there onto Nerve, a little bit of damage, but he gets tagged. Snarly trying to retake the angle as the spike is planted. You've got Darkest working on a pinch, if you want to call it that with an operator, though. Steel Garden going to be called in. Darkest, can you find some sort of a peek here? Maybe a missed opportunity on his Nismo. Just kind of gets tucked into a corner. And now the retake, after the Steel Garden expires, has to come by way of Waterfall. It's going to have to be a full flood. Do they get a reveal off this recon dart? Here comes the take. Cubert stepping up. Good counter flash from the side of Cubert's post plant. And yeah, there's just no way to get through these front doors.
Well, the only option left is to save, bring these two guns into the final round, where overall the team is going to have a pretty horrendous buy to try and stay in the game, try and drag this to OT. And outside of a couple miracle rounds, Cubert have looked pretty stellar on this attack sides. I've been very impressed by their post-plant play. I think that's really been kind of the best aspect of their game that we've seen in this series. The post-plants and some of those big executes that we saw in Haven were fantastic. That's really where they've excelled.
Well, now it's Core with their backs up against the wall. And to make matters worse, Nismo is one off of an Armageddon, so if he doesn't catch it in this round, he will for the next one. And again, you could see they're just so flush with cash. So major advantage here for Cubert to have like what I'm going to call a leader's advantage. It really raises the stakes for Core to try to hang on to this. And I don't know, it's just not being able to connect on some of those last ultimates in the last couple of rounds have really softened up what this defense is looking like. Again, a couple of nice 1v2 moments from a couple of the defenders, but largely speaking, Cubert have found good executes onto sites. It's been the post plants that have been a little bit messy up until that last round, but it does feel like there has to be Core Gaming like giving them a little bit of space and continuing to try to play for retake.
Yeah, it was that round 2 ago where Cubert were able to win, and the Hunter's Fury Rolling Thunder were used from Core, where they've really gotten a big advantage on the precipice of winning. And frankly, for Core, win or lose, got to respect how close they've made this game. This has been quite the performance.
Yeah. Ooh, this is an opportunity maybe for the side of Core. If Snarly can catch one, doesn't trust that he can hang at C mountain though, so he'll back up into sight. Little walk down here from Logan with the stinger at pillars. Snake bite with the poison cloud, trying to delay this hit over towards C. Stealth drone out. The reveal and suppress come through. Redux trying to follow up off, but both players are stunned. They can't find each other. Eventually, Snarly drops. Teemo. Scope through. Waterfall connects for the first, but can't get away to keep his life. 4v3. Reveal on tonight. Oh, that's such poor timing. Nerve was looking for the paranoia right down the main side of the ramps. Not going to work out. Now it's just down to the final couple of defenders. Logan, wait, he's able to find a couple, but no, the high ground control for Cubert just too strong. A couple of slip-ups, a couple of mistakes that were punished, but Cubert Academy still able to survive through map number 3 and make their way into the winter semifinals.
Hell of a performance from the Core side. Individually, obviously, insane. The plays on Haven were ridiculous. And even at the end of Lotus, able to get rounds because of Snarly getting that crazy ace. Most of the kills with the Guardian. But ultimately, on the team play front, despite, I think, on split, Core having the advantage there, Cubert with the utility game very on point. Team play very on point for that Lotus attack. And most of Haven, and despite that being such a crazy map, comprehensively as a team, I think they were definitely the better one today, but certainly walking away still impressed with Core.
Me too. And I think that anytime you could find a squad that finds ways to win in the grittiest of moments, they're going to provide headaches for anybody that comes through them in the lower bracket. The other side of things, though, I think if you're looking at this from Cubert's standpoint, you got a little bit of time now to go back through, re-talk about some of these protocols that you missed out on, a couple of windows, a couple of numbers advantages that you just kind of threw away, gun rounds that just went awry, you got thriftied on. I expect this Cubert team to come back out for this upper semifinals and look a lot better than what we saw from them today. So we'll see if that was just kind of one of those series that you're just getting right back into the, oil up the machine, so to speak, get right back into the mix of things, get yourself fresh after not playing for nearly about a month like we had talked about for a team like Envy, who did fall earlier today. So an interesting first day of playoffs. We've got more still to come tomorrow, though. But before we do, we got to close out the day. So we'll head to a break, get our desks back, let us wrap things up, and talk about tomorrow. Right in the backside of the break. Don't go anywhere.
Well, the only one on the team that I've 1v1 was Derek, because he kept shit talking me on opping. I fucking cooked his ass, dude. I did not want to hear it from him. Probably Derek, yeah, probably Derek. He's done it once with me. I think he's done it with other people on the team as well. I think that's just his thing, bro. He just likes it.
Alvin, if we lose a round and then the next round we're on eco or something, he's like, well, I'm gonna go swing wide with my deagle. Just take a 1. And sometimes he's good for 3. So yeah, that's how he plays. He's on Kovacs.
Oh my god, Redux instantly. As soon as he loses something, he's instantly asking to 1v1. Yeah, I can't beat him, so there's nothing I can do about it.
Probably Paint. He's the guy who's always in the range. He's always looking for the 1v1 fights. I gotta say it's him.
I'd say Snarly. This guy always wants to fight, man. He's always looking for a fight, or maybe even Timo, being a duelist player. But I think I'll stick with my first answer, Snarly. He's always looking for a fight. He's like, yo, give him my 1. I'm gonna go peek this. I'm gonna go peek that. I give it to Snarly. He's got some good confidence.
Definitely Alum. His personality is very very silly, so he seems to be the one who's gonna call somebody out, and yo, just 1v1 me, bro. I see him doing it. I can see him doing it.
Probably Recoil. He's definitely our best aimer by far, and he understands how to take isolate ones perfectly, and I feel in a 1v1 he's probably ripping someone's head off, to be honest.
I'd say it'd probably be moves. He'd probably want to square up with me or something if I made a bad call or something.
I think Penny, he's ultra confident. I think he could take down anybody, so he's like, if you're gonna lose somebody, you'd be like, nah, that was an accident. Well, let me get the 1v1.
Well, it's certainly not the day of Valorant that I expected, getting both series, all 3 maps. But I think the day we all deserve, first day of playoffs. It was close, but in the end, Cubert Academy to close out that map. Staying alive here in the upper bracket. Vans, there is so many ups and downs in this entire series, but hey, Lotus is fun.
I was going through a roller coaster of emotions for sure, but I'm glad that it still finished up here with a Cubert Academy win, so I don't fully crash out of my predictions for tonight. But yes, indeed, going into this third map was super fun. I think we identified the pros and cons going into this map, of both of these compositions, where you know, even Ades was mentioning the core composition, very hard to play on the defensive side with no sentinel when you know you have such an explosive composition coming out from Cubert Academy, which I loved on their attack side, how aggressive they were, pushing outside of spawn and post plans, and finally after a timeout you figured out how you could really slow down the initial aggression coming out here from the attack side and play a little bit turtled up and just kind of catch them off timings off the second wave of util, which looked really nice. But towards the end, I mean, it was still figured out by Cubert Academy. It was a little bit too late for Core to fight back here on that second half, and it was a good series overall.
Yeah, definitely a nice try from Core as well. I mean, there was so much action and plays to be enjoyed throughout that entire series, but I do want to say though that for me, the biggest thing from the Cubert side is the fact that their last attack, the final half, the attack half, was a lot more in line with what we expect from this team. It looked a lot more decisive. They kind of had ideas of how they wanted to play the pulse plants. They knew how to disrupt. They knew how to take away win conditions from Core. And it felt like things were finally starting to come together for Cubert. And I feel like if they can maintain the level of form that they showed in that last attack half on Lotus specifically, I think this team will be an absolute terror in the server.
In the end, it was just shaking off a little bit of that rust on the first map, I think, after having a 3-week break for Cubert Academy. And once they were able to really shake off that rust, it really looked better and better from map to map. So definitely we saw like that powerhouse team and the reason why this team was put together in the first place. And also, again, the potential that each one of these players bring. But again, I'm not going to take anything away from Core out of that one, though. They put up an amazing fight, an amazing series as well. And it really, if this is an indication from today for these matches, dude, this playoff is going to be insane.
The bracket and how things shake up has the potential to be crazy. I mean, Core now in that lower bracket and making this as such a close series as they have with the Timotino that was unlocked for a really good chunk of the series, unfortunately just kind of shut down at some point to this final one. Like, this Core team could be a sleeper pick, guys.
100%.
I mean, definitely. I think we've been, I don't know if sleeper pick is even justified at this point. We've kind of been singing their praises. We've talked about the level of play that they have inside, right? We've talked about what kind of team they can be. So I don't think we're, I mean, you said you were surprised to even see this whole day go to 6 maps. I'm honestly not surprised at all. I feel like the level of competition is so close now. And I think this entire regulation season proved that.
My Paul, I was unfamiliar how much of a knower you are. That's my bad.
This guy Roy, all of tonight, dude, has been chilling himself.
Yeah,
always gotta be right.
I get to be right one time. I'm
so he can pat himself on the back.
Exactly.
Jeez.
After 5 weeks, he's like, I'm finally right once. I have to make sure everybody like knows it.
Everyone needs to know.
All right. We'll come back to that and talk about the rest of the bracket. But in the meantime, we have T-Dog on the line for the post-match interview to talk just a little bit more. Hello, congrats on the win. We'll keep it quick because it's been a long series, but I want to know your expectations going into that series than the actual reality of this 3 map that went the distance.
Yeah, expected to 2-0. We had a good game plan and we didn't execute it the way that we wanted to. There were just some things that were going on where, you know, little things, us not being on the same page, those guys having good individual moments. But it's just the start here. This wasn't a sweat.
It's been about 3 weeks since we've last seen you guys in the servers, since you did get to qualify into the playoffs a little sooner, whereas Core had a little bit of a different run, having to grind out all the way till the end. That's ultimately extra reps as well. Do you think maybe that's something that got to help them and maybe it was just like a little rust from you guys to start off?
It's a great point. I do think that we started off just a little rusty, you know, perfect term there. They did have that extra match or whatever it was good, maybe an extra 2 matches. But we've been practicing all week, obviously. But, you know, that transition where, you know, we had more time off compared to them, I definitely felt that they were warmed up and going through the motions like a little better than us. We just, you know, a little bit of a slow start there.
That's fair. And then I want to know about going on further in this series, how to keep that mental resiliency to keep pushing past, especially when you have a first map where there's like these little upsets, like goes to a triple overtime and then losing your map pick.
Yeah, for our team, a big thing that I've tried to instill is that Well, I don't really need to because we all know it. We're the best team in the league. So what that means is hero plays, individual plays, 50-50s, random stuff, spray, this, that, the other. It really doesn't phase us because we know that's how people can win against us. When it comes to me calling, my controller player, my duelist, my sentinel, my flex player, we're all top tier. So it really doesn't rattle us. Our experience is like a huge advantage we have compared to all these teams. And I actually joined in on Roy saying, something along the lines of how the competition is close and how, it's a couple people, or he's saying he wasn't surprised that these are going 3 maps, this, that, and the other. And I respectfully completely disagree. I think with online tournaments, it's extremely random and it's almost impossible to tell how stuff is going to play out. So I do think that the talent in this game, there is a very, kind of like top, and then there's kind of like a bottom. There really isn't a lot of players in between. And I'm not referring to the core players when I say that at all. I'm just saying in general.
I want to let you know, too, the Discord's instantly lighting up with everyone just going after Roy now. It's really funny, respectfully so. But all right, last but not least, I got to ask, I see the plushie there. How soft is the plushie? I got to know.
It's very nice. It's very nice. You can go to sentinels.gg and check these out. My boy Nismo had a big 1v2, which activated a 25% off discount code for everybody as well. And everybody can enjoy, get your Cubert, get your merch, support the team. We really appreciate you guys. And, that was a great win. The last thing that I like to say is I didn't really like the way that things ended for me personally last year on that team. And that win feels really, really good. And I will never not take my matches personal against that organization, no matter who is playing on that team. So I'm really excited to play them again in the future.
Definitely looking forward to another match. Congratulations on this one. I'm excited for the rise of Cubert Academy and see what's to come, T-Dog. Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you. All right, back over to the desk as we close out the day. So much insight.
Nothing but W's for T-Dog. I love it.
I know, honestly.
I coming for blood.
So much. There is all the stuff about the team. I mean, his own sentiment with this this face-off today and everything. And then, of course, Roy, you've been right all day, and he has to call you out for being wrong.
I love it.
Let's go, T-Dog. Let's go.
Oh, that's so funny, bro. Bro's saying that the level of competition is not good, but going to 3 maps in almost all his matches.
Oh, and by the way, he said that he talked about the code from Nismo, but they didn't say what the code was. So it's Nismo 25.
I mean,
there you go, Rob.
There you go. Okay, make sure that's in there.
Oh, are you getting a commission or what?
No, not at all. I'm just trying to be a friendly voice of the community for Rob.
Oh my goodness. I mean, that was definitely a map that went the distance, but with that, Cubert Academy is going to be staying alive in that upper bracket as T-Dog gets to exact that revenge and send Core down to the lower bracket where, yeah, that's going to be tough competition down there. When we're looking at the caliber of the teams that we have here in the playoffs, it is not going to be a friendly playoffs run for anybody. So securing your win now, finding yourself in the upper semis for M80 and Cubert Vans has to feel pretty good.
Dude, if anything, I'm still quite in awe that the upper round 1 was still rankers against M80, with M80 coming in as the 8th seed. That's crazy to think. But to see that M80 was able to pull through with that one, I mean, now I don't even know how to predict the games for tomorrow, because Winthrop University, again, huge W that they got last week in order to qualify through. And they're playing against a TSM that's also been very hot this season. So I'm also going to respectfully disagree with T-Dog, because I still think it's going to be very close games between both TSM Winthrop and SRB and Blue.
Wow, it feels so good for you and I to be aligned, fans. I love that.
All right, but I still hate you, Roy. It's okay.
No, it's okay. I hate you too, but it's all out of love. You know what I mean? It's like
not
love,
love
hate.
I don't even know what anymore.
But no, I completely agree. I think tomorrow's matches are going to be absolutely insane. We have Blue Otter versus Shopify Rebellion Black. Of course, Blue Otter has been looking pretty good in their last few matches. TSM as well versus Winthrop University. So I think I'm in line with Vansili. I think we're going to have some great matches tomorrow.
I mean, we had all the three game sets today. We had some bangers, but it's been a long one. So I know we need some rest for tomorrow so we can stop this bickering that you two have been having all day and anything else.
I love you too, Vince.
Yeah.
Okay, and on a wholesome note.
I love you
Great,
on Ted Lasso.
Okay. All right. You just killed it. You just killed the moment. It's just done.
All right. That's where production's like, come on, guys, get off the air. Thank you all so much for tuning in. It's going to be an awesome day of playoffs tomorrow. Make sure to tune in. We'll see you then. Have a good night, everyone.
Player to keep an eye on here would be Okeanos. He finds elimination. He'll have a dimensional drift to try to reopen up this site. Zera finding here perfect. Finds Caillou looking for more and is able to take it swiftly. Even predicts the teleport. Zera, a flash of brilliance. Puts it down, just down.
Wants to keep fighting.
Yeah, trying to get something off the bounce pass. Not fully going to work. And how about Ion? Locking things down. No rotation. Responsible for this is a lot of his focus is over towards mid. Does have the shear behind him just in case. Sato, corner, lineup. I mean, take what you like. Now over to the burst. On spiral fight, all four. Line them up. Nice weapons right there at Garage. They should be able to grab that and take this into 3 rifles, but not the case initially. Good flash. Redux following up, but only finds one. Nismo now over through Garage. Last hope. 1v2 situation. Caught in a crossfire. First shots are good, and Nismo transfers over. Finds the win, and with that, Cubert, Serve Control Nerve still staying alive on the site. Barrier Orb goes up, but no one checks for Logan from behind. So now the spike is down. Rotation coming through for Timo. And Cubert are not going to try to play the 2v1 versus Logan. They're going to instead try to play for this plant and hold on to the Barrier Orb position. Scuba still holding on. There's the smoke. Logan with the window, just down to 9 for the 1v2. Not in a position to see this. And as he snake fight with the poison cloud, trying to delay this hit over towards C. Stealth drone out. The reveal and suppress comes through. Redux trying to follow up off. Both players are stunned. They can't find each other. Eventually, Snarly drops. Timo, scope through waterfall, connects for the first, but can't get away to keep his life. 4v3. Reveal on tonight. Oh, that's such poor timing. Nerve was looking for the paranoia right down the main side of the ramps. Not going to work out. Now it's just down to the final couple of defenders. Logan, wait, he's able to find a couple, but no, the high ground control for Cubert. Just player to keep an eye on.